we've already programmed the drive, so I don't really feel like it's necessary. Essentially, your operations are going to run like this. This is your controller. This is your drive. You've got a series of screens here at the top. This is screen 100. You next it, main setup. You don't have to mess with the stuff that's inside here, okay? Process, monitors, input outputs, logic and timers, operational statuses, view trip log. There will be times where you'll want to view the trip log, okay? And when there's an error, there's a little red triangle right here, and it will flash, and it'll log. It logs first in, first out. I mean, first in, last out. So you'll have error number 801, 810, I mean, and then error 820, all the way up to 890, and then it'll reset it, kick, and go back to 810. And whatever this error code is, you can look it up in the book, manual, and it'll tell you. The one you see most often is undercurrent, which means you've got power fluctuation, or overcurrent, just power fluctuation. The drive will shut itself off. It's set up now so it'll automatically restart, okay? But if you get an I square T error, you'll say I square T, that's your alert that there's a mechanical failure coming up, whether it's bearing or impeller wear. And so if you have an error code, just give me a call and I'll walk you through it. I usually leave it on screen 100. Screen 100 because that tells you the kilowatts that you're using and the amps you're drawing. Everything's done through your controller. You see here you got your time, the pump's running at 90%. There's your energy screen, and this is your stop button. The energy screen, what we did when we started up is we logged how many kilowatts this thing pulls, and it'll time out in about 15 seconds before we push it. 13.910 kilowatts at full power, running at 60 hertz. Right now you're drawing using 10.416 kilowatts, so roughly 3.5 kilowatt savings every hour, okay? Let that thing time back out. And it has a 0 here, it'll calculate it, so you'll have a running total of how many kilowatts you've saved from install. Operations, fairly simple. You turn the pump off to backwash and turn it back on. There's your stop button. You have a heater UV 3-minute cool down. All that'll do if we hit that button right there is it'll let the pump run for another 3 minutes. That allows your heater to cool down. If you have a gas heater or a UV light, turns off. You got to allow that to cool down also. So it just times it out for a 3-minute shutdown. Yours, that's not involved in yours, so we can do an instant stop. You hear it winding the pump down. You also see it winding down over here. Now, these are your normal everyday buttons that you're going to be utilizing. Your backwash button, turn your valves like they need to be turned. Time to backwash, so you hit your backwash. We've set the backwash pump speed at 75%. You said you wanted to backwash a little slower so it didn't overwhelm you, get a good clean. And you'll notice the timer is counting down. We set it for 15 minutes. It'll run at this 75% for 15 minutes and then stop. And that prevents you from pumping your pool dry if you get distracted. You've changed your valve and you backwashed 1/2 of your filter. You need to go ahead and change it out. There's nothing wrong with stopping it. Moving it to the other side of the filter. Backwash again. Let it ramp back up. Run through your backwash cycle on the other side of the filter.
If I see that the 75% is too much,
you can
I
adjust
can
it.
adjust that down.
Yeah, I'll show you where to do that. We'll get to that. So we'll go back to stop. Now, whenever you hit stop, this is the screen that comes up. You see auto run after your backwash procedure. Go back to hit auto run and it'll run you to the 90%. You can walk away, you're ready to roll. It's doing its thing, okay?
So with this on backwash, I shouldn't have to shut that valve off anymore.
No, because you're not going to be slamming. You got soft start, soft stop. Okay. So that way you don't slam your laterals, which is what you were concerned about. So let's stop it again. We're going to do instant stop. On your pool, you can do instant stop. There's so many pools that have gas heaters, we went ahead and added that to our programming. The other button on your stop, after your stop screen, is programming. And enter your password. If it's blacked out like that, you hit enter or accept. The password is 6535, and you can't change it. We learned that, didn't we? And that gets you into the password. I might not have pushed it in time. Program. Enter 6535. There we go. Now you can change your speeds. You can change your times. You can put it on manual run, and it'll run at 100%. Hit your more button. Change your backwash speed like you were talking about. Press it. If you want to change that speed, you hit enter. And let's say, well, I'm going to try 81%. Hit enter. And if you think that time's too long, you can change your time. Okay? Let's go back to the 75 since that's what we set it at.
You can go ahead and probably drop that backwash too.
Time?
Yeah. What do you do, like each cell it for
4 minutes on
So
each
you gotta say
cell.
5, you can set it at 5.
All right, well, let's just 0, 5. Enter. Okay. Now, if we wanted to completely reprogram the unit, let's say you change pumps, and instead of the 1750 RPM, you got a 3400 RPM. You have to reprogram the unit. And we don't want to go through all this, but we've already programmed the motor information. If we say no, it'll walk you through. What's the horsepower? What's the voltage? It'll walk you all through that. So we're going to say yes, we've already programmed the motor. We've already entered a max speed. If we say no, you enter a max speed. 94% is what we put up there. So we're going to say yes. Single fixed speed, one fixed speed, and we've got it set at 90. Just enter, enter. We do not want the pump to turn off and then back on. Some places allow you to turn the pump off when the pool's not occupied. Florida, for example, 3 hours prior to opening and 3 hours after opening, they have to maintain a 6-hour turnover rate. In between those times, after those times, they don't care. So we can set it up on and off. It just makes it easier to do that. So we do not want that to happen, so we're going to say no. We've already set our time backwash. Well, I have to say yes. So we're going to keep it at 75% in 5 minutes. You don't have to go through all these steps anymore. Auto run or program mode. So let's hit auto run mode. Now we're back to the main screen. This is the normal screen you're going to see. Let's go back to stop. Instant stop. Now, the reason that this 6535, where this really comes in handy is on speeds. You have a 24-hour speed. In other words, we don't have a daytime and a nighttime speed. We just have a 24-hour speed. If you want to speed the pump up, or if you see that you want to slow it down, you can go straight to that speed program and change it. So if we wanted to say, okay, let's run it at 85%. I don't know if you remember what the amperage was there. Now we're going to exit and hit auto run. Now we're going to run at 85%, and you'll see the amount of kilowatts in amperage drop. We were at 20, I think, on the amperage. We're 21. See, we dropped down to 19 amps and 8 kilowatts versus the 10 that we were at. So, as you slow it down, it makes a difference. My calculations, we calculated it, we banked it at 94%, but you can run at 90%, okay? So you'll get a little bit extra savings on it.
But if I had an extended shutdown like this, if I was doing something else and I didn't have the state required to have that same turnover rate, I could back it off.
Oh yeah, right
But
now,
I need to keep it at 90 right now for my state required turnover rate.
but your pool's not occupied.
Right.
So you can actually, well, shoot far.
Yeah, because if I'm not open,
I'm
then
gonna stop this just for a
Yeah.
second.